Hello and welcome to the Idiot Book Nook. My name is Blazewing. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Lady Punnet. My pronouns are primarily she, her, sometimes they, them. Today is a she, they kind of day.
And I'm Kershaw. My pronouns are she, her, sometimes they, them. Today is her day.
And we're talking about Fame Has Its Price by the Vampire Jack Townson. Before we get into that, if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so at lanktr.ee/idiotbooknook, where you'll be able to find links to our podcast, to the YouTube, to the Twitch, and all of our individual projects on the internet, everything we have on the go, and all of that jazz. And we are discussing Chapter 4 of Fame Has Its Price today. So, let's open our discussion.
Called it. I
Yes.
believe it was in some of my predictions last time we did this. And I think I mind you, okay, we do not have confirmation. He could just be extremely suave, but so far we might as well have been talking to fucking Lestat instead of Alexander.
Do you want me to tell you?
Don't know. I mean, I guess we could put like a big spoilers. I don't want to. Yeah, I think we know, but sure, confirm for us.
Okay. So, spoiler warning. If you don't want the spoiler, you can just skip ahead a few seconds. Knowing Jack Townson's backstory, Alexander Lamont is his sire.
Called it.
I didn't want to confirm it at the end of last chapter, but I will confirm it here because I think we're close enough and we have met the man, and it is very obvious. I mean, if the lavender eyes don't fucking give it away, I don't know what does.
Yeah, like in the whole embrace my lifestyle and blah, come on, man, you may as well have been I want to suck your blood.
Also, can we just talk about that faux homoerotic moment in that chapter?
My goodness.
Shit.
It was very Anne Rice. I say that in the best of ways. I really do. I really, really do. That was heavily nuanced. There was tension.
His finger lays on my lips and sends electric tingles through my skull. Oh my.
The nipples.
Yes. Absolutely.
How? Really? How thin is your shirt and how cold is it?
You said it was a mesh shirt, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, that detail I think may have. It was
like a button-down mesh.
Right. Okay, then okay. That's a choice.
That is
there we go.
That is definitely a choice.
That may as add on to the evidence. Just pile it on. And just the style, the decor, you may as well have a big neon sign with a rose underneath that said Toreador.
Yeah, so Jack Townson, the character, was actually, if I'm not mistaken, originally a VTM character.
Yeah.
And then kind of transposed into his own world. But yes, he was actually, when he started in VTM, if I remember correctly, he was a fucking Toreador.
I'm gonna have a heart attack and die. I'm not surprised.
Right.
But and again, I mean it in the best of ways. As a Toreador, it would be hypocritical of me to say otherwise. Yes, Grim, he agrees too. Yes, absolutely. I'm almost done, I swear.
Lady Punnet?
I got sleazy vibes.
Oh yeah. Just because you're a Toreador,
absolutely.
Just because you're a Toreador, don't mean you can't be sleazy.
No, I get that. I'm not saying Toreadors can't be sleazy. If anything, out of all of the clans in VTM, Toreadors are most likely the most sleazy. For every 10 Toreadors, chances are at least 2 of them are sleazy. But I don't know. It just... I think it's also taking what I vaguely know about the entertainment industry and how the second I heard, oh, it's a private audition, it's sleaze factor went up from a 2 to a 10. It's oh, Private, huh? I know what happens a lot of the times with like private things where you're only meeting with like one person because you hear horror stories about it from like industry people and such. And I don't know. I think if there were like other people also auditioning, but it's like you had to go to like a room for the audition, but there was like other people outside the room, it wouldn't be as sleazy for me. But also it wouldn't be as intimate, which is very much the vibe that they were trying to go for here with like the whole like, oh yes, da 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 da. This is what's happening. And now I'm just wondering if maybe the friggin' friend is actually a friend, or if he's like the in-world equivalent of like a ghoul for Lamont. And just like, here's the thing I think my master will enjoy.
You hear a lot of horror stories. Or in Alexander Lamont's case, you hear a lot of horror stories.
Yeah, I was thinking
He is
it.
giving me fuckboy vibes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little bit.
Little bit. I mean, it's definitely, again, like he couldn't have made himself more obvious if like he just like worn a cape, right? But and the thing is, it's working, right? Like our man who has this is like, oh, James is too boring for you, Jack it is. Okay, yes sir. Like, please touch me again. Like,
That's actually a good point. What's wrong with the name James?
Absolutely nothing, but Alexander Lamont is a pretentious fucking asshole from what I understand.
Like there's nothing wrong with the name James. Like sure it's like ordinary, but Jack is like even more ordinary.
I don't know. Have you seen Jack Sparrow? He is anything but ordinary.
Okay, but that's different. That's Captain Jack Sparrow to you.
But yeah. Or there's, Jack Daniels.
yeah. Again, bird of judgment.
Hello, bird.
What else have we got?
I mean, again, the chapters are pretty short still, so it's look at Jack the Ripper. It's a good segue on that one.
Oh, something I did like was the fact that there was some hesitation with James/Jack's idea of like automatically accepting it because it's like I have to live here. I don't know if I can do that. I gotta take care of my sister, and if I don't, they'll starve.
Yep, and Alexander has offered, I believe, payment of some kind for that, so...
He did say that he has no issue with him sending payments to it. But also, I'd like to point out that I get it. This is like a super attractive, like, producer man and offering you a job. You don't know what the job is.
Well, we do now.
You don't know what the role is.
Well, yeah, he did. He laid it out.
Did?
Yeah. He wants him to basically like be his protege, like learn from his apprentice.
Oh, right,
Learn the trail. Like, get in tag, like share all the same contacts. And I guess, that's what he's using as justification for you have to live here because you have to be my little shadow, basically, and learn like a sponge, apparently.
Okay, fair. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's I think it's just because we're outsiders looking in and we're not there, like, in the presence of the supposed very alluring vampire. And it still has to make me wonder if I would still find him alluring, what with the whole, like, asexual vibes thing. Which makes me wonder if, like, awe, like, in like, the VTM, like, awe or, like, traits would work on me. I think it would, because there's still that argument of like, oh yeah, sirens can definitely lure asexuals. They just would sing about like your favorite things. Like for me, it'd be ice cream. They'd just be singing about ice cream and just be like, yes, I want to have some ice cream with these very cool ladies.
It more has to do with the enchantment in the actual music itself, not what they're singing about.
You mean to tell me you wouldn't get excited if you found someone like singing about ice cream?
Depends on what kind of ice cream. But
And
what
depends
my
who was
point is
singing.
depends. Like I said, it my point is the magic itself is in the music, not the actual
Yeah.
topic.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, there was probably just a lot of presence happening. But it's definite.
Wow. Yes, Grim. I totally get that.
Yeah. He enjoyed that book too, apparently. But yeah, it is definitely nice for him to have like a tiny moment of reservation and to side acknowledge that this is not normal for him to just be like head over heels in an instant for a dude. Like it definitely feels like he is mildly aware that there's something extra going on. I guess he's blaming it on like nerves and opportunity and stuff like that, but we obviously aren't knowing different now.
I
Yeah.
blame it on the mesh shirt.
You what?
I'm blaming it on the mesh shirt.
I mean, you can.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people blame things on mesh shirts.
Like okay. So if you can pull off if you have the confidence to pull off a mesh shirt, people look attractive in it regardless. If anyone here has played the game Stray Gods, okay, hold on 1 second. I will pull up a picture of it because in the video game Stray Gods, which is really good, it is like the first RPG musical. Eros, the god of sexual desires and the big god of sex.
Yeah.
Basically, he is the god of sex. I will pull up a picture.
Where do you think the word erotic comes from?
Dun, dun, dun. Oh my god!
I'm
Yes,
trying to
Grim,
find
we're
it.
almost done. Jeez.
Okay,
But
hold on. There's
but
one.
mother, you are not paying enough attention to me.
Pretty much.
All right, there we go. So Eros wears a mesh shirt because gotta love and stuff. And this is what he looks like because I'm putting it in the general chat just because. Yeah.
You know who else I would have loved to see in a mesh shirt? Does anybody remember the old TV show called Hercules?
Yes.
No, not just Bezos. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hold on, let me pull him up again really quick just so I can remember what he looks like. This guy?
No, not in that one. Not that Hercules.
Not the cartoon. The live action. Give me 1 second.
Wait, hold on. I think I saw him.
Think Xena. Because those shows, they cross over sometimes. Oh my god, yes,
this
Grim.
guy.
What is it? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, him.
I could see that. I could see God of War wearing a mesh shirt.
Yeah.
I think most of the gods could get away with wearing mesh shirts.
You know who got away with not wearing a mesh shirt? Zeus.
Zeus has to wear full clothing and a chastity belt because my god, that man's sex drive is too high.
Zeus got away with not wearing a mesh shirt, along with a lot of other clothing.
Uh-huh. Naked.
On topic with the book, because
Zeus,
we're blaming
don't put your dick in
everything
it.
on
Too late. Sorry, go ahead.
This guy has all the trademarks of stereotypical vampire. He's got the violet eyes, he's got the pale skin, he's got long, luscious hair that's akin to a lion's mane, which I would like to point out that lion's manes are actually very thick and coarse to protect their necks. So not soft. Not recommended for petting, apparently. Not that you should pet lions in the wild, because that's how you get eaten.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
If no pet, then why friend-shape?
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely
obviously to lure prey in.
But yeah, anybody else get massive Lestat vibes off Alexander?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I also got vibes of another vampire that belongs to one of the other communities that I'm in, actually, because the lavender/violet eyes are very much a him trait. So,
you know what though? People could also say, "Oh, it's just contacts," because I know in your game one of the characters has blood red eyes from being embraced, and you guys are all like, "Oh yeah, contacts," because I have shit eyesight.
Yeah, but yeah, that would be Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And I was definitely one of those people when I wore contacts a couple times. I'm like, can you just make them colored? Because if I'm going to be sticking something in my eyeball, I might as well have something extra.
I'd love to be able to get myself. I'd love to be able to wear contacts. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get an optometrist to get me the actual measurements and curvature of my eyeball, because the generic contacts I can't actually fit in. And if I'm going to go for that, for something like colored contacts that are custom made, I'm also going to get them in my prescription so I don't have to wear the fucking glasses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you're telling me that even without my glasses, just staring at somebody with my head down a bit, it's going to send fucking psycho vibes, and that's exactly what I'm going for. It would also be nice not to have to actually wear glasses for once.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm very glad I did the LASIK thing.
Any other comments about the book or the chapter this time around?
Just to kind of fill out that conversation. It's not that I can't see properly. It's the fact that my body literally at the moment will not let me put contacts in. Physically will not allow me.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, as for the comments for the book, I'm liking the vibe of this place. Really liking the vibe of this place.
He does do a very good job of describing things without over describing. It's very much just enough to give you that little extra so that you get a nice clear picture in your head without spending too much time on it. You're still moving forward, but it's very much you're watching at the same time that it's happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I do actually 100% agree with that. What about you, Lady Planet?
I've been very happy with that.
I am enjoying the pacing of this book. I do like the fact that the chapters are a bit shorter, so that way we can actually get through a chapter and it not be super late, so we're so tired that we just want to rush through the discussions, which is enjoyable. So far I'm liking the main character Jack a lot, because unlike most protagonists, he actually has some forethought, and he's showing to be nervous and anxious and showing all of these other emotions that is kind of rare to see in novels lately, I find, because usually you have someone that's super duper confident, or you have it on the opposite spectrum where they're so cowardly and meek that it's what are you even doing as a main character? Whereas Jack's that in between. It's I'm in a shitty situation, I want to get out of it. However, I need an opportunity to do that. I've been given an opportunity. I'm succeeding. I don't know how to feel about this. This is a lot of new emotions I haven't felt in a very, very long time, and I need a minute to process everything, which I appreciate. It's kind of like how it doesn't make sense in fantasy novels that someone who's never picked up a sword is suddenly a master swordsman after one training montage.
Yeah, definitely. It makes him not just more believable as a character, but more relatable.
I think so. So, just to kind of gauge where we're sitting at the moment, if we had to go on a scale of, I guess, 1 to 5, with 5 being the best book ever, and 1 being it's a trash fire, burn it. Sure, we're only at chapter 4 at the moment. We only just finished chapter 4, but what would you guys rate this book? Just so far.
As it stands, a solid 3 so far.
Say a solid 3. I have definitely read better books. Maybe that will change with the more we go through and stuff. I'm thinking that my perception is also a little bit warped because I know we're going to get into some really, really heavy topics later. So I think that's why I'm being a bit guarded right now. So, because sometimes I'm not comfortable talking about the kind of things that are going to happen in this book, but I'm working to get outside my comfort zone. I'm not sure. Hello, baby.
Which again,
I'm in the middle of something.
Keep in touch and keep that communication up. And if you have issues, please let us know.
I will definitely let you know if I ever start to get uncomfortable.
If we need to switch books, we can switch books.
Okay. I'm okay for now because we haven't really gotten to that point, but I will keep communication open. But back to the hand of, like, it's a 3 for me. The pacing's good. The world building is decent because, well, there's not a lot of world building that's needed because, from my understanding, this is like modern times and such. But seeing a glimpse into his world of, like, something that's similar to, like, someone who's on the lower class and just trying to get out is good. It will be interesting to see where it goes from here, and I have a feeling that a lot of the last lines in each chapter are just going to be like irony, like how he said, "What's the harm in one night?" And I'm like, "Ooh, buddy, that is going to bite you in the ass."
Yeah.
You gonna eat those words?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Immediately it was like, should not have said that.
What about you, Blaze? What's your rating on this book from 1 to 5?
I am curious to see where this book goes. I'm curious to see what's coming. I, likewise, am also going to sit at a 3 for the moment, knowing that we are only part of the way into this book. But so far, I have no, like, big issues with it. I think it's more just me being nitpicky than anything else. Looking forward to whatever comes. I might read ahead a little bit, as I've been known to do from time to time.
Surprise,
I will say that anyone who says that a book is a 5 after only 4 chapters is probably being paid by someone to say that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Unless there's only like 6 chapters in the book.
Yep.
Because by then you've reached the climax and you can give like an accurate thing. But like, that's why I'm saying it's a 3, because it's not a trash fire, because we would have stopped after chapter 2. But it's also not the greatest book we've ever read, because we're literally only on the 4th chapter, and there's how many chapters are there in this book?
1 second, let me go take a look. This one. Let me open up Kindle. One moment, please. Loading. According to this, there are 31 chapters.
Exactly. We're not even like a quarter of the way through the book. So we still have like a lot of twists and turns and probably like foreshadowing and stuff to get through.
We're still in setup phase.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say though that if any animals die, I will cry. So do not do John Wick on us. Do not make a dog die or a cat, because look at this cat. This cat is adorable, and look at his face. Hello, baby. Hello.
By the way, speaking of literary stuff and like media and stuff, if you guys are ever wanting to watch a movie and people have gone through it and combed through it and you would like to know what kind of trigger warnings are in the movies, DoesTheDogDie.com, I think it is, has a whole host of like different movies and breakdowns and trigger warnings and shit. And it'll actually tell you kind of what to expect.
Oh, they also have that with TV shows too, I think, which I feel they should have that more with TV shows, because if I had known what I was getting into when my ex convinced me to watch Game of Thrones with him, I probably would not have watched Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones, otherwise known as Tits and Ass: The Medieval Chronicles.
The site of
They
murder.
didn't have an intimacy coordinator back then.
In medieval times or in Game of Thrones?
In Game of Thrones, like, apparently intimacy coordinators for like film sets are new.
Oh.
So, because I recently found this woman on TikTok who's an intimacy coordinator. So her job literally is to make sure that during intimate scenes, everyone is covered and comfortable, and they're following the comfort levels of the actors and stuff. And I'm just sitting here thinking, so you mean to tell me that with all of those very naughty, very graphic scenes, that there was like no one making sure the actors were okay?
The actors and the crew made sure they were okay. It's not a new thing. Maybe that particular official position, but it's not a new thing on sets for things to be discussed preemptively.
I would hope so, because a lot of those actresses were like young girls.
Mm-hmm.
It can be uncomfortable for anybody to have their bits out,
Yep.
But that's why those things are discussed. And the intimacy clothes, like having the sock on, is not a new thing.
I would hope so.
Auden says, main character dies, I'm like, meh. A dog dies and I lose my shit.
The main character can die. That's fine. But just don't kill the dog. Don't kill the animals. Like, I always assume that animals all live, because otherwise it makes me sad. The only exception is John Wick, because otherwise there's no point with John Wick.
Yeah, otherwise there's no movie.
Which, by the way, speaking of John Wick, if Keanu Reeves ever wants to go back and play Constantine again,
they're making a second one.
Or is he gonna be Constantine?
I think so.
He better.
Yes. Like, don't get me wrong. Technically, he doesn't actually look like the real Constantine, because apparently the real Constantine is like a blonde British dude. But he was so good as Constantine, and he always says he wants to go back and play that role.
So, what else do we have for the book?
We're tapped out. It's a short chapter, and it was very much like to the point. Like, there was not like.
Yep.
There's only so much we can do with it.
We've hit the points. Lamont is sleazy vampire dude who wants to get with James/Jack. Jack is following hard and fast for him. There's questioning on why he's hired, but obviously it's like, oh yeah, Lamont likes you, so you're gonna stick around. And you're like, and he's sure. He's all like, oh yeah, you can check out my world, you can see what it's like. But we all know that it's gonna be like, I'm going to make this look as alluring for you as possible, so it's just dumb for you to refuse. And when I have you in my clutches, your life is going to turn upside down.
Tira says, Sire, John Wick survived the snap. Thanos, so what? The Ma, his dog didn't.
Ah.
Bye, Thanos. Been nice knowing you, fucker.
John Wick would. Okay, let's be honest though. If they hire John Wick to deal with like all of the villains, the MCU would be a lot shorter.
If they had hired John Wick to deal with Thanos, that entire saga would have been a lot shorter.
Yep.
Who would win in a fight? Bucky Barnes or John Wick?
John Wick.
John Wick. Hands down, no competition.
Don't even
Okay, all right,
think about it.
better comparison. Black Widow or John Wick?
John Wick.
Hey, you know what?
If you're
Fair,
pitting
he did
anybody
kill
up
us
against
again.
John Wick is always going to be the answer.
Fair, he did once kill 3 men with a pencil.
I guess
I
the
am
only
so upset
okay,
that-
okay, the only maybe I would like consider a little bit if you were giving me like a John Wick versus Riddick kind of deal, but like
Auden says Chuck Norris or John Wick. John Wick.
yeah, absolutely. Chuck Norris doesn't use guns; he'd never make it close enough.
Yeah. I will, frick, I lost my train of thought. Where was I going?
Yeah, that happens.
I was going, John Wick. We were talking about John Wick. People he goes up against. You know what actually would be terrifying if John Wick was the one that trained all the assassins in the MCU?
Yeah,
See,
that could work.
if John Wick had
Oh,
a
I
trained
remember now. I remember now. The fact that they call John Wick Baba Yaga makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why are they calling him an old witch lady?
They're referring to him as an old witch lady who is known for like kidnapping and eating children.
And traveling
And
in
they're
a
all
house
like, "Oh
that
yeah,
has
it's the
feet.
Russian." They're saying like, "Oh yeah, it's the Russian version of the boogeyman." I'm like, "No, it's not. Baba Yaga is not the Russian version of the boogeyman.
I know.
The boogeyman is like with many different iterations in like each culture, but Baba Yaga is not that.
Yeah.
Baba Yaga is an old witch who lives in the woods."
Auden says if it was Chuck Norris or John Wick, hand to hand, no guns, I think it would still be John Wick. And the reason I say this is because you're forgetting one thing. John Wick is technically Neo, therefore he can bend the laws of physics. Good luck with
That's
that.
why he never runs out of bullets.
Hacking the Matrix, man! So, on that note,
Okay. Wait, here we go. I just looked up what the Russian version of the boogeyman is, and I think it was due to a mispronunciation, because apparently the Russian version of the boogeyman is a Baba Yaga with a K at the end, and it's referred to as either a babe or a babai. It is a night spirit in Slavic folklore, according to beliefs that he abducts children who do not sleep at night or behave badly. He is also referred to as a babeka in Russian folklore or a babeko in Ukrainian, although the terms may also be applied to his female equivalent. So I think it was a mispronunciation or like a
Somebody just Googled it and fucked up.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like a misinformation on their part because they're like, "Oh yeah, everyone knows about the Baba Yaga. We'll use that instead of like actually like doing a 2-minute fucking Google search or like speaking to someone who's like Russian to figure that out." Because John Wick came out in like, when did John Wick come out? I like how we're talking about vampires and now we got into the subject of John Wick. 2014, the internet was a thing. They could have done a 5-minute Google search to look up like the Russian version of a friggin' thing, or just called him the Boogeyman.
Yep, they could have. Anything else you want to mention about the book?
No, I'm kind of hyperfixating on John Wick right now because
Okay.
my god. But no, that's all I would say. Although I am curious. In this book, we know vampires are a thing.
Mhm.
It makes me wonder if they have like the equivalent of like a second Inquisition or like vampire hunters. Like, are we going to see like an iteration of Van Helsing, or is it like, no, we're just going to focus on like the vampires because they're sexy, cool creatures and everyone wants to fuck them?
I have no idea.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yep. On that note, I think this is a good place to probably close out this chapter in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd like to follow us on social media, you're welcome to do so at linktr.ee/idiotbooknook. You'll be able to find links to our podcast, to our YouTube, to our Twitch, and all of our individual projects. We would like to thank you for joining us for Chapter 4, both reading and discussion. We hope you've enjoyed it. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. So if you happen to stop by while we're streaming on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, you're more than welcome to leave your comments in the chat. For this episode of the Idiot Book Nook, I'm Blazewing.
I'm Lady Punnet.
And I'm Crittershy.
And we'll see you guys next episode. Chapter 5, I do believe.